Welcome back, friends, to another episode of the Juicebox Podcast. Arden's back today to talk more about what we don't understand, and today's topic is sarcasm. We don't understand why some people can't hear it. Nothing you hear on the Juicebox Podcast should be considered advice, medical or otherwise. Always consult a physician before making any changes to your healthcare plan. Guys, the best way to support the podcast, if you're wondering, is to use the sponsors' links. They're in the show notes of your podcast player. They're at juiceboxpodcast.com, and they're repeated throughout the ads. I'm talking about Omnipod, Dexcom, US Med, the Contour NextGen blood glucose meter, Gvoke HypoPen, Cozy Earth, AG1, screenfortype1.com. Let's not forget Touched by Type 1, the Eversense CGM, the Medtronic Champions link, and you can go to t1dexchange.org/juicebox and complete that survey. All of these things will support the show, not to mention sharing it with friends and people you meet along the way. And don't forget to join the private Facebook group, Juicebox Podcast Type 1 Diabetes on Facebook. It currently has almost 54,000 active members, and it's adding about 150 new people every 72 hours. This episode of the Juicebox Podcast is sponsored by Cozy Earth. Use the offer code JUICEBOX at checkout at CozyEarth.com, and you will save 40% off of your entire order. The episode you're about to listen to was sponsored today by AG1. You can drink AG1 just like I do by going to drinkag1.com/juicebox. Check it out. Okay, all right, we're back. We're making another episode of I Don't Understand. But before we get started and I tell people the topic, tell me what you just said.
Oh, about Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram.
So fucking spoiled.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I'm like, let me tell you about this problem on Instagram. No, I don't even want to say it now. It's not that big of a deal.
5 seconds ago, you were like, there's a travesty of justice. Let me tell you about it.
Come on, just go.
You don't.
No.
People are going to wonder what you were talking about, though.
I know.
Just let them wonder.
It's good to be curious.
Okay, well, speaking of being curious, we were wondering, and this is one that neither of us understand, I guess. Is it neither or neither?
Neither, neither. I don't think it matters.
Either, neither, neither.
I don't think it matters.
Let's call the whole thing off. You know the end of it.
I wish you didn't do that.
Tomato, and you say
tomato. Tomato. Potato.
Let's call the whole thing off.
I didn't know that was a whole thing.
Yeah, is that like a song about people dating and then they don't
end up
get together because they say tomato differently? That's a dumb reason to break up. Topic, Arden, is
what are you doing?
I'm stretching my leg.
Okay.
No one knows that's happening if you don't mention it. Today's topic is something it's difficult for you and I to understand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know for me, I'm dealing on a professional level when it comes to sarcasm. I really am.
And I've created sarcasm.
You feel like you're the one?
I'm the creator of sarcasm. So we have quite a hard time understanding this topic.
Yes. Our topic is we don't understand why some people can't hear sarcasm.
Yeah.
Because it's so obvious.
Yeah.
To me, to you as well.
Yeah, it's just like, duh.
Yeah. Like it's so bad.
I can't not use sarcasm.
They say sarcasm is a dull man's wit or something like that, but I think that was something that a person who didn't understand sarcasm said. You have to understand, and probably you do, that when I'm making the podcast, normally I'm dialing back myself by about like 80%. Like I can't,
You're doing that right now too.
Oh, I'm still doing it.
Yeah,
or I would say
something,
or I would say something horrifying to people.
Yeah, and this podcast would be over on episode 3 because
we'd get canceled.
Yeah,
for sure.
Then we would have no money.
Like when we said, like when we just said, I said, hey, do you want to do this topic? And I was like, maybe we should wait longer till people really like us before we bring this up.
I think the truth of it is, though, most people feel the same way about things, but they just don't want to be the first one to say it.
Well, that I believe is probably true. But I've also learned that there are times where people they don't hear it at all. Like anything.
Like
this thing that whatever,
your son.
like things that I think are just obvious. And then I have these sit down long conversations with people and I realize they're not hearing this, experiencing this, understanding what I'm saying. I
think a big part of sarcasm is understanding the personality that you're working with. And if people don't know you, then it's like they don't know if you're being facetious or not.
Yeah.
So like you have to understand the personality you're working with. But because it's like, obviously if I made a joke and it involved like murder, you'd be like, oh, Arden's not going to murder someone. She's kidding.
No, but some people would be put off by it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're not reading the sarcasm.
And those are people who can't like pick up on like they don't understand how personalities or this or that.
But it's not like there's something wrong with them, because those people could easily say like, why don't you guys not be so sarcastic? And then I won't have to feel my way through what you're talking about. But when you're being sarcastic, do you not mean what you're saying?
Not always, no.
But sometimes.
Yeah.
Because like the saying, many truth are told in jest. You know that one?
No, I do.
Okay. Meaning that people joke about things that they really mean. And then they're like, oh, I'm just kidding, to like lighten the landing of the.
What is it? Drunk something or sober thoughts?
Drunk words?
Something like that.
I don't know the saying.
How they say like when you drink and you say something.
Like a truth elixir?
Yeah.
Drinking. So when people it's so interesting because now I'm trying not to be sarcastic while I'm thinking about it. But I know, as an example, I don't believe that mom's mother on any fundamental level understands me.
Okay.
I think anytime I'm joking, she doesn't know I'm joking. Wait, what?
Then why are you saying this?
Because she's an example of a person who I just don't think gets my sarcasm at all. And I know there are other people like that because I get emails from people listening to the podcast who are like mad at me for something that they perceive that I think.
You know what I think is so interesting?
Mm-hmm. This is from a listener. Thank you for introducing me to Cozy Earth. For my birthday, I bought stuff to update my bed, sheets, comforter, and a blanket. It honestly made our lives better. My husband and I used to have a conversation, in quotes, every single morning about who pulled the covers so far to their side or how we were too hot or too cold. That never happens now. Both of us sleep better and more comfortably. And don't get me started on the clothes. Y'all should just try one piece. Use the offer code Juicebox at checkout at CozyEarth.com and you will in fact save 30% off of everything you put in that cart. CozyEarth.com. Use the offer code Juicebox at checkout. I began drinking AG1 when I started worrying that I wasn't getting enough vitamins, minerals, and gut support. I tried a couple of other products that I did not like the way they tasted, and eventually I found AG1 and I settled on it because it delivers what I need and I like the way it tastes. So AG1 contains prebiotics, probiotics, and gut supporting ingredients. And since I've been taking it, I've noticed I have more energy, improved digestion. I've got reduced bloating, like, you know what I mean? Like you get puffy in the front, less of that. And I make the poopy every day. So it helps to keep me regular. What I'm telling you is AG1 helps fill my nutrient gaps and supports my gut health. These things are incredibly important. I take them very seriously, and that's why I drink AG1. So start with AG1 and notice the difference for yourself. It's a great first step to investing in your health, and that's why they've been a proud partner of mine for so long. Try AG1 and get a free bottle of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase at drinkag1.com/juicebox. That's a $48 value for free if you go to my link, drinkag1.com/juicebox. Check it out.
For some reason, like not being sarcastic is like the default persona. So if you are sarcastic, it's like you're different because you act like this in this scenario. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you could, like people will say to a sarcastic person, if they don't like sarcasm, they'll be like, I don't like sarcasm, so you have to stop using it. But why is it not like, oh, I like sarcasm, you should use it. I understand it, you should use it.
Right.
It's such a double standard.
I have to tell you, this is a very similar thought that I had after I got married, but not about sarcasm.
I want to know what it was about.
It's about like in any interpersonal situation, someone tends to take the moral high ground and illuminate you as the problem.
Yeah.
And now, therefore,
anything that's unique or different anyway is the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
And they feel like, well, because, this is a bigger topic, isn't it?
This gets into like race and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like it's minority, like being the minority in a certain setting makes you the one who's wrong.
So you're saying if you're a sarcastic person
Because
surrounded by people who aren't,
yeah,
you being the minority in that situation allows the people who aren't sarcastic to paint you as the problem.
Yeah, because there's more of them than there is you. So they think that they must be right because they're like the normal version or something, and we're like the off version of them.
Do you think that in an alternate situation when there's 8 people with like the talent for sarcasm and 2 people who don't, does it feel mean to the 2 people who don't have this skill? Is it a skill?
It probably is. But like, think about it.
An
like,
affliction?
Think if like you were in like a room with comedians or something and they're all making jokes and you're not like
Right.
that. You feel out of place then.
So when you hear comedians talk to each other, like, because now every comedian in the world has a podcast, so you can hear their every thought.
Just like you, Deb.
I have a podcast too.
You're
But-
comedian.
I'm not a comedian.
You're so funny.
Do you think I could do stand? I don't think I could do
No,
stand
you would
up.
really. I don't think you could do it either.
Yeah, I don't think I could. But my point is this, is that when a bunch of comedians get together, they just break each other's balls constantly.
Yeah, and I would love that. I'd love to be in that situation.
Mm-hmm. Like
Mom would start crying 4 seconds into that conversation.
because she feels
Like
attacked
yeah. Cole would too.
because they don't hear the sarcasm.
It's all jokes. You can't take anything to heart.
Right.
But the thing is, a lot of it's true. You have to deal with the fact that it's true.
Are you okay hearing stuff about yourself sarcastically that's true?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes.
When
You're not.
What do you mean?
You're not good with that.
I think that everybody thinks.
You dish it, don't take it.
I think everybody thinks that.
Probably, to an extent.
Yeah. I think everyone thinks everyone else is bad at it, but they're great at it.
No, I don't think anyone's bad at it. I think that,
You think I can't take it.
you cannot take it.
I don't agree with that.
You get very defensive. You're already defending yourself.
I don't feel defensive.
Like, if you told me right now that I can't take it, I'd be like, okay, I don't know why you think that, but like, okay, if that's what you think.
So
But you get defensive right away.
this is very interesting because I don't agree with the use of the word defensive.
I hate this. We're not getting into this next topic.
What? Because
We've talked about this at home and I think it's so ridiculous.
I just think it's explaining a perspective.
This is just literally wrong. This isn't even like an opinion. This is just wrong.
So I'm not allowed to have my own opinion because you've said I'm wrong. But earlier you said that if people who don't understand sarcasm,
But there's some stuff that's just fact and that is just wrong. Go ahead, tell them how you view.
if somebody says something
Go ahead.
about you that you don't agree with and you explain it, that person goes, you're being defensive. And I'm saying, no, I'm just trying to give you my perspective.
Well, that's completely different. But
don't
you can
think so.
still being defensive doesn't mean like you're giving it being defense. You can give perspective without being defensive. You can say, okay, I don't agree with this situation. I don't agree with how you see it. Here's how I see it.
Mhm.
But instead, you're just like, no, you're wrong.
Have you not considered that it's because of the incredible onslaught of pressure coming from, let me be honest, you and Mom trying to tell me I'm being defensive?
You are being defensive.
I don't feel like I am, but when I'm being told I am, it makes me upset, not defensive. It makes me feel like you're not listening.
You go
to me.
into a defensive mode when you're upset. That's how you work.
I don't like it when people don't listen.
Yeah, and you get defensive.
I feel like
This is
that's
very man of you, the way you're talking.
I think that feels like a bad word to me, defensive.
Yeah, so it makes you more defensive because you don't like the word. You're just proving my point right now.
I don't feel like that.
Well,
I feel like if you're backing me
like
into
and subscribe and comment down below. Is he defensive?
yeah, please.
Oh, this isn't YouTube, is it?
No, I mean, it'll be on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you people do that.
but I don't see it as defensive. I just see it as you're not understanding my position and I'm trying to articulate.
You know how this feels to me? Not to bring up New Girl again.
Okay.
But it has so much greatness in it. It feels like the episode of New Girl when they're trying to get Ruth into like the really good school and they're trying to teach her about colors or something and about numbers. They're trying to teach her the numbers and they're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and they get to 7 and she's like green. And Schmidt is like, what? Did she just say 7 was green? And Jess is like, 7 is whatever she feels it is. That is how I feel right now when you talk about being defensive.
I feel like
exactly
you're willfully not hearing me so that you can keep me on a defensive footing.
No, that's not what's going on.
That's how it feels.
Well, I feel that you're wrong.
Okay. Look at you reaching all the way into season 7 of New Girl for a reference.
With Ruth.
Look at you.
That they named after Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
I remember. I was there. I saw
so
the whole
funny.
thing.
Wow.
I remember during COVID when you said to me, Dad, you got to watch this show.
And you tried to say no at first.
I didn't like it at first.
Yeah.
It felt too Fox sitcom-y in the first.
Do you remember the
episodes.
first day that we watched it together? Do you remember why we were watching it? I do.
So here's what I remember about the first day.
Mm-hmm.
We were up earlier than everyone else.
Yeah.
So I'm going to guess we went for a blood draw.
We did. We went for a blood draw. But that was the day. You remember when we went to go get my blood drawn and she took so much blood, she had to go to another room and get more vials.
Tubes. Like, I ran out.
We both looked at each other like, what? And then
that was back when we were trying to figure out all the things that were going on with you. And she was like, I don't have enough tubes. And she left and came back with more tubes.
Yeah.
Like in her shirt, right? Like she was
she was holding them in her shirt. And we were like, what the hell? And then she came back and I swear to God, it was like over 30 tubes that she took. I don't know what was even wrong with me. And then we left and I remember her saying something like, did you eat? And I was like, no. She's like, yeah, you should probably do that.
But then we came back here and nobody was awake yet. And it was like a cold or a wet day or something.
It was cold.
Right? And then we sat on the sofa under blankets. We watched New Girl. And because it was COVID, Mom and I were letting you redo your room any way you wanted.
Yeah.
And you decided...
Because my birthday, because I couldn't do anything for my birthday.
Right, we couldn't do anything for your birthday. Yeah. So you repainted your room, put down different flooring in your room as your birthday present. But you also made this grand pronouncement that watching televisions made your eyes hurt and you needed a projector.
Yes, that was the same day. Yes, you're so right.
Because the projector's screen came that day.
And then we put it up in my room.
Yeah, so we hung
it
up.
And then you know what the first show I put on was?
No.
Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, no kidding.
And we were watching Grey's Anatomy on the wall. And then Cole did his little dilly-dally did. He's like, oh, what's going on in here? And I was like, I got a projector, bitch. Yeah, you want one.
Also, for people who think that that's a crazy thing, you can get a projector for about $300. And the screen was like $100. And we put it up in her room. And she pulls down a screen in her room when she wants to watch TV and turns on a projector.
Yeah.
But nowadays, you would do it more on a laptop, right?
It's because I'm downstairs doing homework, but I just got to clean up my room so I can do it. Mm-hmm. It's hard to do because I broke the little thing that all my clothes are standing on, so it's leaning against the closet. Do you want to tell people that your closet
I don't want to tell them about this. Full that you have a freestanding closet in your middle of your room?
No, I don't want to talk about it because I also have clothes in my basket online right now, so I don't think that we should talk about it.
Okay. Arden needs this podcast to like maybe get some advertisers so she can buy clothes with it.
No, I need an education.
Okay. So that was the day.
Yeah.
And that show is incredibly sarcastic.
Yes.
And you and I love it.
Yes.
Now, here's interesting. Mom
cannot watch it.
She can't even figure it the fuck out.
She can't get like 3 episodes in. She's like, it's just like, it's all right. And I'm like, well, because you don't hear anything that's going on right now. Mm-hmm. Like something sarcastic will happen and I'll turn my head and smile. And she's just like sitting there. And I'm
staring.
Like, she doesn't get it. She does not get it.
Did not hear it at all.
Yeah. And it's not like she doesn't think it's funny. She literally does not understand what's going on.
Yes. It's not. You're right. She didn't hear something funny and decide that to me is not amusing.
Funny. Yeah.
She can't identify that it's funny.
Yeah.
Because she's not hearing sarcasm. She's hearing the words and their meaning, and that's it.
Yeah. She's so literal.
Okay. Cole, who is also literal.
I think that he's worse than Mom in like when you're talking to him, he's worse than Mom.
But he loves New Girl. Yeah, he loves that show.
Yeah.
But he likes something different about it.
Yeah, it's not the sarcasm, it's the actions maybe, like when Nick will moonwalk or like when Schmidt like acts a certain way, it's not the sarcasm of it, it's not the joke, it's the actions they're taking. Does he hear
he hears the sarcasm?
I think he hears it. It doesn't affect him the same way, but he likes like the things that they do.
I can feel sarcasm. Like,
shut up.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you can feel it coming when you're watching something. You're like, I know this feeling. I was saying to somebody the other day about being sarcastic that when it's done exactly right, it is indistinguishable from like regular speech. It's not there, but people who know it's there, it's like seeing a ghost. Does that make sense?
Sometimes I hear sarcasm in what people are saying when they don't mean to be sarcastic.
That happens to me too.
And like they don't know that they've done something sarcastic. And I'm just like, oh, like you don't know why.
So, almost like a double entendre way, but not exactly. I say stuff on the podcast that I know some people laugh at it for one reason and other people laugh at it for a different reason.
Yeah.
And the two don't hear the joke.
Yeah. I will have to learn people like sarcasm from people. It's like when I say something or someone else says something sarcastic, I have to look around a room and see what people's reactions are, because people who hear a joke laugh and people who hear sarcasm nod their head.
And grin or something, maybe, just not along with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very interesting. Do you want to read about why some people can't hear sarcasm? It might surprise you.
Okay.
Cognitive and developmental factors. Individuals with ASD, which is autism spectrum disorder, often have difficulty interpreting social cues, including tone of voice, facial expressions, and context, which are essential for recognizing sarcasm. But that's not why somebody wouldn't.
Like, I know that's true. I know that people on the spectrum have trouble, but not everybody's on the spectrum.
Right, exactly. So that doesn't get our answer. Young children or individuals' developmental delays. Okay, that's not...
Children can't even walk. What, are they going to get my joke? Jesus Christ. It's like, hey, buddy, come over. Oh, he can't walk. But let me tell you this funny joke.
Isn't it funny, too, as you're talking about sarcasm? If you said to me right now, say something sarcastic, I wouldn't know what to say. Right.
But if, we're going to say, but if you're talking, you can't not say something sarcastic, because that happens to me.
I have to stop myself from being sarcastic.
Yeah.
When I was first, of dating age, a friend of mine told me...
At 6 years old.
Yes, I had a full beard and I was dating at 6. Now, when I was of dating age, a friend of mine who was older told me, dude, if you ever want to be with a girl, you can't use that much sarcasm. Do you think that's true?
No, I don't think that's true at all.
Yeah.
I have to date someone who's sarcastic, or I'm just like, boring.
But your boy is very quiet, or is he just quiet around us?
He's just chill, but he's very sarcastic with me.
Okay. Right hemisphere brain damage. Wait, what? The right hemisphere of the brain plays a crucial role in understanding non-literal language, including sarcasm. Social communication disorder. This isn't what I wanted. Hold on. What is sarcasm? So key characteristics of sarcasm are irony, tone and delivery, context, intention, and examples. If it's raining heavily and someone says, "What a beautiful day," well, that's just lazy sarcasm, but it is an example of sarcasm. Sarcasm can be used to add humor to conversation, often highlighted by absurdity or contradiction. Contradiction is mainly what I think of when I think of sarcasm. Like the opposite of, like you're saying the opposite of the words coming out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Right. It can be a way to criticize or express disapproval without making direct statements. Yeah.
I think we do that for sure.
100%. Among friends, sarcasm can be a form of social bonding, showing familiarity and shared understanding. And people sometimes use sarcasm to deflect criticism. Do you think you do that?
You do that for sure.
Oh, so for sure I do it, but you're not sure if you do it?
I don't know. You have to tell me.
Here's why I can't. Let me just readjust to my seat so I can explain this to you. I don't judge you.
Oh, no. We're not getting into this right now.
I don't have any idea.
You know what?
If you do that.
You know what? You'll have no career once this is over if you want me to start talking. Just so you know. And that, by the way, sir, was not sarcasm.
But when I said I don't judge you, I was being sarcastic. And then you got defensive.
No, because we've had a real conversation about this, and I think it's craziness.
Did you just say no? I was being sarcastic and you got defensive. Was I gaslighting you?
I didn't say no, I wasn't being defensive. I am being defensive.
Okay.
I 100% agree with that statement.
So when I'm being defensive, it's a problem. When you're doing it, is righteous.
No, I'm just saying that you can't admit to being defensive.
No, we're back on just now. I was being sarcastic.
Yeah, I know you were being sarcastic.
And you attacked me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
Ding, ding, ding.
Sarcasm is often used to mock, criticize, or show contempt. It can be humorous, but can also be hurtful depending on how it's used and perceived.
Oh, I mock.
You're always mocking people.
I'm always mocking people. It's terrible.
Unrelenting.
I love it.
When you do it and people don't reckon.
What is that?
That's a cricket. Sorry. You just yell, "Stop it, cricket."
Stop it, cricket. Cricket? What's its name?
Well, it doesn't have a name because it only lives for a couple hours, but can you maybe tap on that cage once?
Oh, that's not going to happen.
Just tap
for sure.
Well, we can't talk while it's... it's not. Wait. It's got... All right, hold on a second.
Can the thing kill it?
It's asleep. The chameleons are asleep. They have a very specific bedtime ritual. They know what time it is.
Which cage is?
It's the white one. If you just tap it, yeah. That should freak the cricket out long enough. Do it again. This is the one real drawback of my chameleons being in here, is that sometimes I go to give them a cricket and they don't get it, and then it lives in there for a day or two. And
I think I got it. Oh no, it started again.
Can you imagine if we had to cancel the podcast because of this?
Something just like left your screen. I don't know what it was.
It's a screensaver.
Oh. It's louder now. It like knows.
I think it's coming for you.
Fucking get this.
Go ahead.
Oh, it stopped. It's going to start again.
Probably. When they get to a certain age, they get like paper on their legs, and I think, oh my God, how does a cricket make a noise?
What do you mean by that? That was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Do not put that on the notes app.
You don't want to?
No.
You don't want to know how a cricket makes that noise?
No.
All right.
That is for your own time.
So I think what's interesting is that we have not been very sarcastic while we're talking about sarcasm.
No, you're not really.
And if you asked me to give you an example of sarcasm right now, I wouldn't be able to do something. But I know my sarcasm is like top shelf. Like yours is too, by the way. You have very, very impressive sarcasm. Yeah.
What is anaphylactic shock? Is that when you have an allergy?
Yeah. Where did that come from? You were just thinking about anaphylactic shock?
Yeah.
You said it very wrong, but
it's not stopping. I think it just made a colony or something and they've started.
You think there's more than one in there now?
It's so loud.
It is really
so
upsetting.
hot. Maybe it's hot.
It is hot in here.
Yeah. Like
tough,
the
though.
backs of my knees are dripping.
Sexy. You're also wearing a sweatshirt.
You guys into that?
How's that sound? Are you... It really won't stop. All right, hold on a second. We're going to pause. Okay, we're back. Let's button this up. So I have a couple of thoughts.
Wait, before we keep going,
Go ahead.
I just want you all to know that the Ohio butthole tickling bandit has escaped custody and is being hunted by the police.
Wait, what? The Ohio butthole tickling bandit? That's not real.
I'm looking at it.
How do I get to your butthole if I'm the bandit? Also, I'm not the Ohio.
Someone commented he doesn't penetrate, he only tickles.
Wait, I first of all, I'm nowhere near Ohio. I want to say that right now. Tell me about the Ohio butthole tickling bandit. So
Someone said the fucking who?
it's an urban legend and satirical news story that gains some attention on the internet, but is not based in real events.
Oh, that's no fun.
Sorry. It's satire. Satire. Is satire written sarcasm?
Yeah, it is, Dad.
Satire and sarcasm are related, but distinct forms of communication, and while they often overlap, they are not the same.
But isn't satire like only...
Satire is a literary and rhetorical device that uses humor, irony, exaggeration, or ridicule to criticize and expose the flaws, vices, or shortcomings of individuals, institutions, society, or politics. Sarcasm is a form of verbal irony where someone says the opposite of what they mean, often with a tone of voice that indicates they are not being sincere. It is frequently used to mock or convey contempt. I have to tell you something. My favorite part of sarcasm is when you use it without the tone that says, I'm kidding. Like, I think of that as like old 1950s sarcasm. You know what I mean?
Like if someone has a cigar in their mouth and they're like, "Ugh."
Whatever that is. Yes, yeah. There's that like big voice.
Bourbon
and like
in their hand and they make a joke and the laugh track is like,
that's how I think of like old sarcasm.
yeah, stupid.
Like, yeah. When I think of sarcasm, I am saying something to you I do not mean. And I am saying it in a tone that would make you think I 1,000,000% mean it.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it's not about understanding sarcasm. It's about understanding the person who is being sarcastic.
Because no one should ever take me seriously.
Yeah, but if someone just met you, how would they 100% know that?
They wouldn't.
Like, you know, like when we go to a restaurant and you're being sarcastic with a waitress and she's like, but you can tell she's like, what the hell did he just say?
Yes.
Yeah, it's because she thinks you're being sarcastic, but she doesn't actually know your personality or who you are. And so there is no way she can know you're being sarcastic 100%.
And our time is so limited. There's no.
And as a person, she's probably defending herself in a way too. It's probably like a mechanism.
So if
she's an animal, like we're all animals. She's in defense mode now because you've said something that's probably, if not taken sarcastic, it's uncomfortable. And then she's like, I have to defend myself now. I know I don't need to.
I'm never sarcastic and mean.
I am.
To people you know. I always am. To people you know. Would you be sarcastic and mean to a stranger?
No, I don't know. No, you know what? I'm very sarcastic to people I know and to people who listen to me. If I'm talking to someone I don't know well, I'm an observer, I don't talk, I observe. Mm-hmm. So I talk more so in a setting in which people know me because sarcasm is so big, so I have to use that. And if I can't use that with people yet, if they're strangers to me, I have to listen to them, observe them, and figure them out first.
Okay.
Where you more so would get in a situation and you would automatically start talking to someone.
I'm oblivious to the things that you just talked about.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and it's purposeful. I don't care.
You should.
I should?
Yeah.
Because
it helps you, makes you a smarter person.
How much smarter can I get?
Oh, you could get much smarter, trust me.
That was sarcasm.
I know it was.
Okay.
And so was mine.
Okay. Well, yours was better than mine, is that what you're saying?
Apparently, if you can't catch on. It's like an animal kingdom. I'm the lion here.
Oh. You've never seen The Lion King?
No, I have not.
Why won't you just sit down and watch The Lion King? It's upsetting.
What does he say when you listen to
whatever that's called. Like that thing. Yeah. That's probably not tonally correct. There's no one in our family that can sing.
No, none of us. We can't dance. We can't sing.
And for as pleasing as my voice is over this microphone, I cannot sing. People tell me all the time I have a great voice for this, but
I have the worst voice for a woman.
You think so?
It's so deep.
I don't know. I find it nice.
Well, I'm your daughter.
That's not why. You don't feel shrill to me ever.
What's that mean?
You know when Sanj laughs?
Sanj, poor Sanj.
You know when she laughs and it makes you like
you want to cover your ears a little bit.
It makes you want to murder her.
Yeah.
Like that. You're never shrill. And shrill even means a little more like, oh God, almost like bitchy. Like, or.
You know what I really like about myself that I don't do and I will never do? And if I end up doing it one day, I would really like someone to tell me. Girls who end their sentence with, they're like, oh my God.
Do you remember when vocal fry was really big? What? People go, oh my God.
I'm like,
like that.
I hate that.
Somebody told me online that I have vocal fry.
What?
I don't, though. I think they just mean my voice is really deep. So sometimes when I'm speaking, I think there's like a rumble in my voice. But vocal fry is specifically at the end of a word.
Yeah. I hate that.
They say it's a mechanism of trying to sound smarter. Like you're being thoughtful at the end.
Oh, it makes you sound dumber.
But don't the Kardashians do that?
Ooh, I don't know if dumber is a word.
More dumb?
Is it more dumb?
Dumbified.
Dummy.
Dippy.
Stupid.
Doofus.
Fucking idiot.
Jesus. Very violent.
I thought we were like getting up to that. So I just went there.
I think you got to it too fast. Wait, so why don't people understand sarcasm? It gave us like very like if you're
oh my God, what was that?
That's what it sounds like when Cole comes home.
Jesus.
Yeah, it shakes.
I thought we were about to I thought Homelander was here.
It woke the cricket back up.
Oh my God, it did.
Yeah. It's upsetting.
That's how I feel when Cole enters a room, honestly.
You're upset?
Yeah.
Oh, he's home from basketball.
I know, I saw him leave.
Okay.
He's probably so out about it. He's probably like, it's so hot outside.
He runs.
It's so hot outside.
He goes out in like 90-degree heat, plays basketball outside,
Well,
then runs for like 3 hours. He looks exhausted when he comes back.
But you should watch Love Island.
Okay, so he should. Oh, please stop watching Love Island. By the way, it's upsetting.
God, they're so dumb. I love it.
But okay, so you're watching that. Why?
It's like a zoo. It really is. It's just like watching animals interact with each other.
Because they're not having real experiences even?
It's just like...
It's made up, right?
They'll be in there for like a week and someone leaves and they start crying. And then I'm like, how is that possible? And then, you know, another guy wants to talk to another girl and the girl's like, I just feel like we formed a connection. And I'm like, you have been there for 7 days. And 2 of them, you didn't know them.
Does it almost feel like they're being sarcastic?
No, there's no sarcasm in their voice.
They can't. They're not capable of sarcasm.
Yeah.
You think sarcasm is difficult? Like, do you think you have to be able to hold 2 different thoughts in your head at the same time to be sarcastic? Because you know the truth of how you feel, and you know what you're saying sounds like opposite of how you feel. Like, is that interest? Is that? I wonder what that is. You know what I mean? I don't think we figured out why people can't hear sarcasm.
It's just...
People can hear a cricket. That's for sure. Hold on a second.
Oh.
I did it.
Okay.
But so just some people hear sarcasm and some people don't. Because I didn't mean...
And you know what's really interesting?
Mm-hmm.
I will openly say, I feel superior to people who like are not sarcastic.
Okay. You're comfortable saying that?
No, I am.
And you're not being sarcastic?
No, I'm being 100% serious right now. Not like, oh, I'm a better person than you. But like, I feel like there's a part of my brain that understands something that yours doesn't. Not that like, oh, you're dumb. But it's just like that part of me is... You
feel like you have a skill someone else doesn't have. Okay.
But I think it's interesting that it's not like, if you're not... Cricket.
I know.
It's not like, oh... you're not sarcastic, so you're stupid. It's just like, oh, you're not sarcastic. But those people probably think that sarcasm is like a coping mechanism or like a way we have to handle a situation. They probably think they're more superior for being like serious and being able to talk about something.
Like we have to. Oh, yeah. So like there's a misconception that you're only being sarcastic because almost like when people say cursing is for stupid people.
I've never heard that before, and I love to curse.
Yeah. So hold on a second.
Oh, cursing's so fun.
What's the saying about why some people are sarcastic? The saying is, sarcasm is the lowest form of wit, but the highest form of intelligence. So it's easy humor, but I don't understand what that means. Hold on a second. It's going to explain it to me.
Well, you clearly don't have the highest form of intelligence.
First of all, go fuck yourself. Bang on that.
Dad, it's not working.
Do it. Tell it to stop. Thank you.
We should start an ASMR channel.
An ASMR channel? That's all we should just...
Yeah, and then they like whisper. They're like, okay, today we're going to be doing...
All right, I'll try it like...
And then like I would like put my fingernails up to the thing and I would just like start clicking them.
That upsets me when I see people doing that.
Well, guess what? A lot of people really enjoy that, so...
Really? Okay, so I'll just... lowest form of wit. This part suggests...
there's something I wish... If there's one thing in my life I regret, it's that I was bringing that conversation up. I just spoke at a lower tone? I think that needs to stop right now. Okay.
Well, under lowest form of wit, it says, this part suggests that sarcasm can be seen as a cheap or easy form of humor. It's often quick, biting, and can come across as mean-spirited or lazy because it doesn't always require much thought or creativity to be sarcastic. I don't believe
the complete opposite of that.
I don't believe
being quick is really hard to do. Really hard.
I have what I heard somebody refer to recently. I heard somebody refer to this recently as, you have talk show. You're thinking at talk show speed. Like when somebody's on a talk show and it's all very quick and bantery like that, and people can keep up and keep the conversation going. Like I move at that speed. You do too. Like you're quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't see that as lazy. Highest form of intelligence. This part counters the first by implying that sarcasm actually requires a high level of cognitive function.
What's interesting? Is that if people who move quickly and do all this stuff, sarcasm is considered mean. You move quick. I wonder if that's why I've been in the South for so long, that the Southern people see Northerners as so mean. It's because we're moving so quickly and we're just to the point. Like we get something done and then we do the next thing.
They do think we're being rude.
And they think we're being rude, but we're being efficient.
Yeah, move, go.
And then them, when they take so long and do all this stuff, I'm like, oh my God. And then the way they speak, it sounds condescending to me because of how long they're taking to get their thought out.
You think all the gaps in when they're not talking is like a little f*** you?
Yeah, a little bit. Because I would totally do that if I was like f*** you.
Almost like they're making you stand there while they're not saying anything.
Yeah, it's like I feel like you could like walk up to a lady in the South and she'd be like, "Oh, honey, I love your skirt." But if I said that to someone up here, they'd be like, "F*** you, asshole."
But you think she really loves your skirt. But it's hard to take that way.
Yeah, it's really hard to take.
I understand. It says, why are some people sarcastic? People who are sarcastic often have a good grasp of irony and they are quick thinkers. They can see the incongruity between what is said and what is meant, and they use that to their advantage in communications. Sarcasm can serve as a social tool, allowing people to convey criticism, humor, or disdain in a more veiled or socially acceptable way than outright confrontation. Some people use sarcasm as a defense mechanism. I don't like it there as much. There, it feels dirtier to me. It's cheaper.
But it's true.
And then among friends or within certain social circles, sarcasm can be a way of bonding and showing affection. We heard that earlier. Sarcasm can be a part of someone's natural communication style. It might be how they were raised or the dominant form of humor in their social environment. I definitely grew up around a lot of sarcastic people. And there are times when I'm being sarcastic in my personal life and I stop myself and I think I shouldn't be talking like this. Because I'm not trying to tax people around me and make them wonder. I have to change
my whole personality with certain people, especially like parents. I cannot be sarcastic around a lot of people's parents. They do not understand what I'm saying at all.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, you're going to take your children away from me.
As their friends?
Yeah.
So the positives are that it can be witty and entertaining, provide a way to indirectly address issues, fosters a sense of camaraderie. The negatives, it can be hurtful or misunderstood, especially if the recipient does not recognize the sarcasm. It may be seen as insincere or passive-aggressive and can erode trust and respect if overused or used inappropriately. I can see where people could find it to be passive-aggressive if they didn't understand your intention. Interesting. So it says, in summary, sarcasm can be seen as low-effort form of humor, but it actually requires intelligence and social awareness. I agree. I'm intelligent and socially aware. I think that I've had conversations that I mean one way that are taken completely differently by people. I think there are people in the world who have a vision of who I am that is completely incongruous with who I actually am because they don't hear the sarcasm. Do you think there are people walking around who don't really know you?
I think most people don't know me. I think that even people who hear this podcast
won't follow it.
Dude, no. That's not what I was going to say. Wow, he thinks poorly of you guys.
That's not what I meant.
Like, still don't understand me. Because, first off, this is like basically 35% of who I am is what I'm giving off right now. Because you have to hide some of yourself.
Okay.
That's like completely true.
Not because you're an axe murderer or something.
No, just because people will interpret something wrong or,
right.
Like part of entertainment is like getting people on your side a little bit and you're trying to make them relate to you in a way, and people aren't always going to relate to like
Right.
They want to feel like you. Like they want to be like, oh, like we're similar.
Okay.
So you have to kind of like vibe with them.
Mm-hmm.
But that's unrelated.
So you try to match other people's energy?
No.
You try to give them the part of you you think they can handle?
Yes. Because I've seen, like, I've obviously been on the podcast before, and I'll see like comments people make about an episode or whatever, and they're like talking about me, and I'm like, wow, you have me really completely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not saying anything bad, but it's just like they're not right.
Yeah.
The way that they perceive me is so off. It's incredible.
I recorded an episode today with a woman who's the way she thinks or almost doesn't think about me at all, even though she listens to the podcast, was so freeing to me. She said what she said, and I thought, this is great. I will never again wonder how people perceive me.
I wonder how people perceive me.
I realized today it doesn't matter because so many different people are going to perceive me in so many different ways.
But don't you want to know like what it is, like how they see you?
No, because what I'm telling you is that different people see you different ways. So
No, I know.
When there are people listening, there are enough people listening to you right now while you're speaking.
Yeah.
That you are being perceived in a multitude of ways.
Yeah.
And in some ways that you can't even fathom. And so my point is that it's not worth wondering about.
I know.
That was all.
That's why, like, sometimes I'll see like people and I don't completely agree with them, or honestly, like I think less of them because I'm like, wow, like I don't agree with what you're saying or this or that, but I'm just like, I don't actually know what I'm like. You have to give them a chance because you don't actually know.
Right.
You don't know shit about anyone.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
You're probably wrong about most of the things you think about other people's intentions and their thoughts.
Yeah.
That's my expectation. Because if I'm holding something back, so is everybody else. Right?
Yeah. I think the only people I'm not that way with is like our family.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like I understand what everyone would say.
I don't think that I change very drastically depending on my surroundings. And like you said earlier, maybe that's a problem in some places. But in one place where it helps is like with you or your friends come over or Cole's friends come over. Like I think your friends find this house comfortable.
Yeah.
Because there's no pretense between us and them.
Yeah.
I'm not pretending to be like an adult or smarter than them.
I don't change who I am. I conceal who I am.
I don't bother doing that.
So like I actually don't think that I've ever been 100% of who I am with anyone. I think only myself. And then I'll give like 95% of myself to people. And then I'll give like 90% of myself or whatever. Like I would say like our family as a whole probably knows 90% of me.
So this is very interesting because I always think I've made so many episodes of the podcast and I am genuinely talking while I'm on the podcast. Like the things that I say about how I feel about people or how I feel about helping people, that stuff's all very genuine.
Yeah.
And I always think, I wonder if my family listened to this, if they'd believe this is me or not.
No, I'd believe that.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm never sure exactly.
Wait, can I pause this to crack my neck?
Why don't you just crack your neck on the microphone and then we'll stop. Go ahead.
Wait, why stop it?
Oh, okay. Then just crack your neck.
Okay.
Your neck was disturbing. When we're done recording, let's go back to 2 minutes and 2 hours, 2 minutes and see if we can hear it. I have to admit that on the GLP meds, I was hoping your cracking would get better because it's we'll talk about it.
There's something wrong.
We'll talk about it on another show, but I'm having all these people on the podcast that are having all these different like revelations with their health around GLPs. It's really interesting.
Can I tell you an episode I want to do
of this show?
I just thought about.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was thinking about it like I would say 15 minutes ago. You're going to be so confused why it just came up.
Go ahead.
Do you know who Bridget Mendler is?
She sings a song that was popular one summer.
Hurricane. And she was on Disney Channel and all that.
Okay.
We need to just talk about Bridget Mendler lore.
Is it because you don't understand it?
No, it's because it's so fascinating.
Okay.
She is so fascinating. And she was on Disney Channel, but adults who are listening, you'll really enjoy this. She's a full-grown adult now. She has a family. She's married. But this girl went from being like a Disney Channel sensation to going to Harvard and MIT She has like multiple doctorates, I think. People want her to like run for president. It's like this whole thing.
That's interesting.
And we need to look into her.
All right, we'll do that.
She wrote hit song Hurricane. She also sings Ready or Not, Here I Come.
Really? I only know the Hurricane one.
Her.
Also, at some point, we're going to do what happens when you lose weight. Where does it go?
Okay.
All right. Is that sarcasm? You're okay? Or were you really disappointed in me for changing the subject that harshly?
No, neither of those are true.
What did the okay mean?
I was just going to say something else and I didn't say it.
So most people, when they tell me I love it when Arden's on the podcast because I feel like I can hear her eyes roll back. When you're like, that.
I'm not an eye roller.
But you're not an eye roller, I know. But a lot of people say that.
I'll just look at you and say, okay.
But a lot of people say that to me. I can feel Arden's eyes roll back in her head when you're talking.
You're wrong. This is what I'm saying. People do not understand me at all.
But do we understand anybody? And does anybody understand each other?
I will see people comment things like, oh, my kids do this to me too. I have a 14-year-old who says the same thing to me. And I'm like, oh, you don't understand. I'm kidding.
What if their kid's kidding and they don't understand that?
No.
If their kid's serious, you're joking.
Yeah, I'm kidding. I don't think people understand how similar we are. So there are things that I'm saying and I mean it on a completely different level than what's coming out of my mouth. But they're thinking like, oh, my kid says that. But I'm like, oh, no, your kid doesn't say this because what's coming out of my mouth is not what I'm saying right now.
And you and I are incredibly similar.
Yeah.
The way we think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's go kill that cricket. All right.
Okay.
All right. We'll find it together. Thank you for doing this with me.
I will not be helping.
Goodbye. I'd like to thank Cozy Earth for sponsoring this episode of the Juicebox Podcast and remind you that using my offer code JUICEBOX at checkout will save you 40% off of your entire order at CozyEarth.com. That's the sheets, the towels, the clothing, anything available on the website. A huge thank you to one of today's sponsors, AG1. Drink AG1.com/juicebox. You can start your day the same way I do, with a delicious drink of AG1. The Juicebox Podcast is full of so many series that you want and need. After Dark, Ask Scott and Jenny, Algorithm Pumping, Bold Beginnings, Defining Diabetes, Defining Thyroid, the Diabetes Pro Tip series for Type 1, the Diabetes Variables series, Mental Wellness, Type 2 Diabetes Pro Tip, How We Eat. Oh my goodness, there's so much at juiceboxpodcast.com. Head up into that menu and pick around. And if you're in the private Facebook group, just go to the feature tab for lists upon lists of all of the series. Always free, always helpful. If you're not already subscribed or following in your favorite audio app, please take the time now to do that. It really helps the show. And get those automatic downloads set up so you never miss an episode. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back very soon with another episode of the Juicebox Podcast. The episode you just heard was professionally edited by Wrong Way Recording. WrongWayRecording.com.